part 2 of our in-depth horror discussion on one of our favorite movies, Creepshow.
1982,
based on
the
the
original.
EC Comics Tales from the Crypt.
The only.
Vault of Horror.
Alright, so then we left off with the second story.
We left off with the second story, yeah,
the farmer and the meteor. Anyways, and then freaking
the
he goes
Stephen
inside.
King is a Hicks story.
Yeah, so he goes inside and freaking he touched the meteor to begin with before he went inside, and he knows
throws water on the meteor.
He knows 3 little white things growing on him, but he doesn't think nothing of it. So he goes inside and gets a beer and turns on the TV.
And he's watching 70s wrestling.
And it's like a 60s TV.
Early 80s wrestling, like Darnell style, like on a Saturday
it's
night.
60s TV with the knob.
And they're playing.
White.
If you notice, they also play different themes, like through every different story. They don't use the same things. This is the main Creepshow theme from the beginning. Then they use different kind of beats.
The score's real dope in this movie. Anyways.
And it's actually Tales from the Dark Side effect, where it's like doo-doo-doo-doo. That one. They use that in this story.
So he looks at so he's watching the TV and he notices the things on his fingers, and then he goes to a comic strip reel of him thinking about it getting amputated. So then he sees him freaking, it's like the freaking scientist guy like freaking moving across the screen like on a chair. It's hilarious. And then he's like freaking, so then he thinks about being amputated. But
yeah, then the weeds start growing up.
Yeah, it cuts back to the outside of the
grows
house.
up his taint, Nate Dunning style.
Wow,
like literally, and he goes to shave it.
No, so then it cuts back out to the house, and it shows that more and more, greenery's growing. So then it cuts back to him inside.
No, he actually does scratch his taint for a moment. And that's when he's like,
wow.
What's the only cure for it? What's the hit cure? And he grabs a bottle of Pop-Off.
Yeah, so then he goes into the kitchen and he starts looking for freaking stuff, and they freaking gets the Pop-Off, and he's like, there you are.
And it's all the way in the back,
and
he brushes the dust off of it because he's sober.
He pours in like a dirty freaking thing.
It's like his own like frozen orange juice.
Yeah, half filled with orange juice, and he pours it all in
makes a screwdriver like a huge one.
And he mixes it with the bottle that he poured it out of. So then freaking he sits down drinking the Pop-Off thing, and he's like, oh, I needed that.
Then it cuts to later that night, and keeps on growing. He's growing like so much THC in the membrane. He starts hallucinating. He's in his bathroom. And he sees his dad.
That cuts him in the chair, and he starts seeing the freaking knob with the growth on it on the TV. It has like little things growing, and he's just like, I'm growing. He's sitting there.
The whole outside.
It's all
the
quiet.
And
he's
growing.
like, I'm growing. And then freaking it shows outside, more weeds growing. So then, he goes to the bathroom, and he starts filling up the tub, because he's like, I gotta get in there, freaking get this stuff off me or something. And then he starts looking in the mirror, and it's like, and then he envisions his dad. He sees his dad, and his dad's like, you're not gonna go in there. He's like, you're afraid of water or some shit like that. And then he's like, he'll be a gunner. And he's like, I'm already a gunner, Dad. He's like, I'm already dead. So then he goes in there, and he's like, oh, it feels better. But anyways, cuts to the next freaking day. And he's freaking completely covered by this time.
Weather report on the radio.
No, he's completely covered by this time, and the greenery looking like a moss guy, covered in the moss. And then freaking, he's like, please, God, let my luck work just this once. And he grabs the rifle, and he blows his freaking brains out, even though it's like his chronic brains.
And on the news report that's playing in the background, they're like, lots of rain.
Yeah, they're going to be expecting a really good forecast for all you farmers out there.
A lot of greenery in the future. And then it goes to the classic.
Lots of sun, lots of rain.
Comic book crossover.
And then it freaking cuts over.
And it shows advertisements too. They decide to show like in between, like they're switching over to story, like it's realistic.
When it cuts out of that story, it's the frozen picture of the weeds growing inside the freaking in the middle of the highway, and it's the road signs. And it cuts from that to the comic, and then it's the ads like exploding cigars and freaking
electro buzzer.
Pretty tight.
And it shows X-ray glasses.
So then it cuts to the next story.
This is one of my favorites. This is probably,
wow.
I don't know.
JBM likes it because it's riveting.
Something to tide you over. With Leslie Nielsen and Ted Danson.
So it cuts to something to tide
two of
you
my
over
favorite
on
actors,
like a light blue
Ted
title.
Danson from Damages is awesome, and Leslie Nielsen's a legend.
It starts out with this guy.
Such great screen presence.
It starts out with the camera inside this guy's living room, and it's the freaking fish tank.
Even before all this, he used to play all serious roles. He never even played comedy. And this is one of his last serious roles.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen.
Even though you're laughing every time he's talking.
Because he's
it's just
playing a serious role.
No, he's knocking on the door. He's like, Wentworth, open the freaking door. Because Wentworth, Ted Danson's character, is cheating on his wife.
Yeah, it cuts this guy.
And thinks he doesn't know about it. And he's just like...
The door knocks and it's Leslie Nielsen and he's freaking
He's like, don't act like you don't know me.
No, and he puts his foot in the door.
You better open the door.
Leslie puts his foot in the door and he's just like, don't try that trick. He's like, that only works in the movies. I can bench press 300 pounds.
And he's just like, well, you better open the door because something very nasty is going to happen to Rebecca.
No.
And don't call me mister. You damn well know who I am.
I thought her name's Becky. Her name's
Becky.
That's
short for Rebecca, you douche.
That's retarded.
Of course you didn't know that.
That's retarded. What, how sometimes they call people with William, Billy or something?
Yeah, you know how it works.
Yeah, that shit's retarded. Go on. So then freaking he's accused. No, he comes in.
It's just like something so nasty your little mind couldn't even understand.
And he's like, what had you done with her? And then he's like freaking starting to fix this.
So he lets her in.
He's like, your VCR is a little, your wires are messed up in the back.
I'm surprised you didn't notice the quality in your reception.
It's gone down.
He's just like, stop small talking me, asshole.
He's like, what's going on? What did you mean something's happening in messy?
And then he puts his hand, he's like, what do you mean
something's nasty's gonna happen to...
He's just like, take your hands off me right now.
That part's hilarious.
And you just drop dead, start laughing once he says it.
Because it's Leslie Nielsen. It's a
Richard Vickers. He's listed as one of our favorite villains on our channel page. Check out all our channel villains on the sidebar.
He's just like, take your damn hands.
Then he's playing the record of his wife.
No, so then he plays the recording of his wife like screaming, and he's like, you know, her getting drowned, and she's like, help, you need to help me, Harry.
I had to stop. I couldn't bear anymore. And he's just like...
And he's like, what have you done? Tell me what you done, you son of a bitch.
He's just like, trust me, you'll want to listen to this. You'll want to know, Mr. True Love. He's just like, we were going to tell you. She doesn't want any alimony. She's like, listen, I know you're rich. We don't want any money. She just wants you out of your life.
Out of the relationship. And then he's just like, we're going to tell you we're going to, you know,
and he's psycho, jealous guy.
Anyways...
So then they cut to a comic strip. They're like to a nearby shore.
Yeah,
drive out to the
strip
beach.
Of them driving.
And he's like, "This is Anal Point, where all the kids swap diseases and smoke out."
He's like, "This is Comfort Point. It's very remote.
No, he owns it."
Anyways, so then freaking
he pulls the gun on him and tells him to get in the hole.
He shows him the freaking. He looks out there and it's a shovel and it looks like a body's buried. And he's like, "There she is." And he's like, "Could it be her?" No. And then he runs out there and then it's freaking it's just a hole. And he pulls the gun on him. Leslie does, and he's like, "Get in there, Harry."
Wants him to bury himself in there.
He's like, I just want to incapacitate you.
And then he starts yelling, help. Ted Danson's like, help, help. And then Leslie Nielsen's like, help,
yell
help.
all you want, Harry.
It's private. I own it, you dipshit.
And then but then he's just like, I just want to incapacitate you. Then I'll show you her.
No, then he brings over like an extension cord.
And he brings over the
VCR.
His
80s TV. And
he plugs it in on the beach on the sand. And he shows, and it's a video of her like who's in the same position. She's covered in the sand, right next to the tide, and the tide's coming in on her, and she can't breathe. And she's like, "Oh, Harry," and then it cuts off, and he's just like, "Oh, Harry."
He's like, "No, you son of a bitch! That's some special effects trick.
Yeah, he's like,
I've heard of that.
He's like,
I'm from Hollywood. I'm Ted Danson."
He's like, "That's some '80s footage or something."
He's like, "No, I assure you that VCR's on record."
It's very hilarious. So then he's just like, well...
He's just like, I'm gonna keep this stuff, so I can see it later.
And he's like, you must be joking. He's like, you're crazy. No, he's like, you're insane.
He's like, I kept my promise. You saw Becky. Now is that insane?
And then he's like, oh my god, you are insane. And it's pretty hilarious line.
So then he leaves him there with the monitor, and he's like, for the tide to roll in.
So they leaves him there with the TV, and then it's short circuit.
Then it's like a sweet theme playing as Richard leaves.
Yeah, and he gets
to his beach house.
Yeah, he gets into his beach house, and he's looking on the cameras.
And he gets in there and he pours himself a bottle of some like
champagne
mineral water. From the 80s.
No, he's looking at the cameras that are all inside his living room, and it's like a.
Then it shows that the tide's finally coming in, and it shows Ted Danson. Yeah,
he set up a tripod out there that's on their dome so you can see him die. And then freaking cuts back out to him.
Dancing in his his head's like in a fishing bowl.
Yeah, she cuts it back out to him, and he's finally completely
like a cartoon or something.
Completely covered in water under there, and it's like a fishing tank exactly the same in him. And it's like a red light behind him.
So then he goes to bed, and it cuts to the next morning.
No, but while he's looking at him,
check on him.
No, while he's looking at him on the camera, he's just like, "I'm gonna get you, Harry." No, he's like, "I'm gonna get you, Richard. You hear me?" And he's looking at him in the camera, and he's like, "You hear me? I'm gonna get you, Richard." And he gets covered in the water.
This acting's classic in this.
So he's like, "You better hold your breath there, Harry." And then he finishes mineral water, and then he takes a shower, butt naked.
No, that isn't no. He cuts to the next morning, and he checks on them.
Oh yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, the tide must have got him out."
He's like, "Current pulled him out."
Yep, that's
it.
Current pulled him out.
Because he couldn't find the body, but the TV and shit was still there. So then he cuts to at night, and he's checking his VHS collection of like his tapes and shit.
He's like, "That damn maid.
She better not have moved it."
She's like, "She must be moving my stuff again."
And that's when he jumps into he's an old man jumping into the shower. This guy's been like 60 forever.
Yeah, the white hair forever.
Exactly. And then it shows shots of like his fish tank and like of his exotic fishes. He's got like a tiger shark in there swimming around as he hears noises because the freaking fish are flinching because both the two
the ghouls, the water ghouls.
Yeah, they
both
are
their
water
dead bodies
ghouls.
Come up there. And they're coming in. No, he looks.
Yeah, so the fish are flinching. Awesome cinematography idea
before he goes
by George A. Romero.
Before he goes into the shower, he looks out the window and it's nighttime. And then there's a shadow when he walks away from the window. The camera's still in the window, and there's the shadow of them coming up. And then he goes in there, and then it shows the footage because he's in the shower and he's looking at the footage.
Awesome.
There's a camera inside, camera TV inside his bathroom.
Moment.
No, and he's looking at the footage, and it's showing like the ghost. No, it's showing like the presence of like freaking of like the smoke and like. And the camera thing opens up in the living room, and he's like, "What the heck? Why is my thing opening up?" So he gets out the shower. He hears stuff.
The 13th Wolfman.
Wow. So then he gets his freaking So then he gets his little 45 snub nose, and he's like, "Harry, I know you're out there." He's like, I'll shoot you, Harry. Let me remind you, I'm the one with the gun.
He's like, "Wentworth, I'll shoot you dead."
He's like, "I'm the one with the gun."
So then the walking zombie ghouls, and he's just like, "You can't shoot us dead, Richard, because we are already dead."
Yeah, he opens the door and
and it goes to their tight voice, the gargled voice of them, and he shoots them in the dome. He shoots his wife in the dome first because he hates her.
And it's like the blue, he shoots her in the head too.
She's
and the blue
a two-time slut.
Wow, it's a blue like, running down like blood.
You could agree with that.
It's all freaking gory. It's tight. So then they're like, "If you can
No,
hold
they're like,
your
"Come
breath,
to the beach, Richard."
They're like, "If you can hold your breath," and then it cuts to him.
Still walking toward him, and then they bury him in the beach.
Yeah, it cuts to him,
and the
buried
ending
in the beach, and the tide's coming in. He's like, "I can hold my breath for a long time." And it's
Wesley Nielsen.
And it's Wesley Nielsen. You're
and
like,
it freezes on his dome.
And it's the camera
cross over to the comic
but when
transition.
he's also when he's like stuck there and the tide's rolling, it's the blue and red light when he says, "I can hold my breath for a long time," and it's real tight. And then it cuts over the comic strip frozen on that screen of him there, and then it cuts over and it's like.
All right, we're gonna introduce the next story as it goes to. Shows a little bit more advertisements. I think it actually just cuts over to the crate this time.
Yeah, it cuts over. It shows like a little advertisement, but you can't see what it is.
This is L-Mid's favorite story.
Yeah, I love it. It's pretty tight.
And it's the opening shot of the janitor flipping the coin.
Yeah,
that's how he finds
the comic screen. It's the free when it first starts off. It's the freeze comic screen of
and the janitor
him flipping the coin, and then it unfreezes.
That's how he finds the crate under the stairs.
The coin drops.
In this old American.
The coin drops. He finds the crate.
East Coast College.
And freaking, he sees the crate on there, and the date's like June 19th.
And it cuts to the party with Adrienne Barbeau, freaking early 80s. She was in every movie in the early 80s, including one of our other favorite movies, Swamp Thing.
No, it says 1934.
1834, you douche.
1834. Anyways, so then freaking.
If it was 1934, it would have only been like 50 years. So anyway, they're buying real estate.
Yeah, it cuts right from there to freaking the party. And,
and she's being drunk.
We meet the other three main characters, Harry and his friend who works at the college hall there, and then his annoying wife.
They're both professors there. No, and she's like, and she's just being an annoying drunk, and she's like, buying real estate in a college town is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, talking to like
and
people that
his
they
wife's
just met.
embarrassing them. They're just establishing that.
Yeah,
like,
no, and she brings over the people that they just met, and she's like, hey, these people are. She's like, these people are dry. They don't know what they're doing. It's a pretty good line.
Eric Vierthal would marry a woman like that.
Wow. So then it freaking cuts to freaking his friend in the back of the party, like on the back porch.
No diss.
And she's just like, and he's talking.
And it shows Ivy.
Stanley.
Hold up, it shows Ivy on the side of the walls of the school. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna introduce the story. Cut to part 3 of our in-depth horror discussion
with
on
the fourth
Creepshow.
story
Stephen King, George A. Romero. Live off with the crate.